Marriage is one of the biggest commitments you'll ever make.
Entrepreneurship is one of the hardest journeys you'll ever take.
And when you choose to build a business and raise a family at the same time,
you face challenges most marriages never have to navigate.
We know because we've lived it.
We've experienced seasons of misalignment, financial pressure, and moments where growth tested our connection.
Not because we lacked love, but because building something meaningful together requires conversations most couples aren't prepared for.
Welcome to Entrepremarriage. I'm Myka.
And I'm Mahogany.
This podcast exists to help couples build wealth
without losing the marriage.
Let's talk about it. All right. What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 3 of the Entrepremarriage podcast, where we talk about building wealth without losing the marriage. And this is our first episode with our children home because
they are in the house.
They are in the house. Sleep. One of them sleep anyway. We just got back from a 2-hour trip from meeting my parents halfway between Little Rock, Arkansas, and here to pick them up. So they are officially home. And guys, Sunday night, so we want to hit y'all with another episode. What are we talking about tonight, Mahogany?
Yes, y'all, but it's up. So tonight we're going to be talking, casually as always. But we really wanted to hone in on strengths and weaknesses. Myka and I have been in a Springboard to Wealth real estate group with Thatch Wynn and Stephanie Owens for the last 5 years.
5 or 6, yeah.
5. This will be our 6th year coming up here. And we've been in this real estate group, and we host meetups in Dallas monthly. And we had a conversation with one of our partners in our group about strengths and weaknesses in marriage. He's a married guy as well, and we were just, discussing, how important it is to play into your strengths and weaknesses when in a marriage. So that's a little bit about what we're going to talk about amongst whatever else we decide to throw in there.
Yeah.
Like Myka said, the kids are in the house, so this is our first time recording with our children home. Shouldn't be any issues, but if we have some interruptions, we might just go with it without editing.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But I forgot how this one came up. I think it did come up from that conversation, but we were talking about like, hey, we should definitely talk about strengths and weaknesses. And then one of our Springboard family members, they talked about, strengths and weaknesses in marriage and like how you hone in on your strengths. And most of the time, anyone who's been married a while knows most of the time, your weaknesses are more than likely going to be your partner's strength and vice versa. And, and it applies both to marriage and like the business entrepreneur life as well, because I know me and Mahogany, I would say the first few years of the business, I think Mahogany always said she felt like I'm sitting at home with the kids while you're going out and doing stuff. And then the business grew, but it didn't grow like 10x until we honed in on Mahogany's skills. And then we honed in on my skills because I was also trying to do certain things in the business that were really my weakness. Mahogany's the people person, and I'm more the back end analytics. And once we changed and honed in on that dynamic, I think that's when our business really took off.
Yeah, I definitely remember like early stages in our business. Really, honestly, we started, like we said we were going to talk about melanated businesses. It's a business that we had started before when we first knew we didn't want to work for somebody forever. We knew that for a fact. So we had came up with melanated businesses. And with melanated businesses, I don't remember exactly what it was we were doing, but basically the thought process was to collect a like hub of a Rolodex of Black businesses in the DFW. So we'd go to Black business expos, we'd go to, new Black businesses and things like that, and just try to like build relationships with Black business owners. We did not know how we were going to make money off of this. Like,
for real,
even thinking about it, sometimes I'm like, what was our plan to make money off of this? So, that was something we had tried, but that was something where it's like, we knew that I could be a really good people person, and Myka was able to get online and build the database and stuff like that, because he's always been an IT guy. So that's, the beginning of trying to just play into our strengths without really knowing how important it was and intentional we had to be about it. But yes, when we first started ShareBnB, our short-term, mid-term rental business and management company, I felt like you spent a lot of your time like with your head in the computer, focusing on stuff. I don't remember you like leaving the house a lot until you started podcasting with Steve, and you'd leave like, once a week to go podcast in person. But if anything, I just felt like at one point I would feel like I was kind of being like left behind. Yeah. It's like, where do I play into this? Because he was playing into his strengths, which is like researching, being analytical, looking at systems and processes. And so once it was time to kickstart the systems and processes and put things into gear, I remember you would then like start listing my help. Like, hey, we need to set up this short-term, midterm rental. Here it's in your hands to get it all put together. So I was able to play into my strengths and creativity at the time, because I would want to, get the pieces off of Facebook Marketplace and sand it, and had a sander and painting, and he had to reel me back to the systems and stuff, and played it in his strengths and stuff to make it more seamless of a process. And then it came, I just really know that for a fact we went back and forth on our skills, even if it didn't feel like it at the time. There's probably instances in your marriage or your relationship right now where you're in business with your partner and you don't feel like you have been playing into your strengths. Because I used to feel like I didn't really have a part in it, or I didn't feel like my weight carried the same usefulness. I don't know. But yeah.
And what that does is, I think when you learn to play into each other's strength, because there's been times with we've gotten off track, and it's led to bigger issues in our marriage, because if you look at I know Mahogany. So at one point, Mahogany was like, okay, I'm going to branch off and do Herbalife, which, man, it really helped, because I ain't gonna lie, if anyone's ever been in network marketing, man, they have the most powerful books and weekly meetings. I remember I used to be folding clothes and listening to Mahogany's weekly meetings. They're real big on Jim Rohn. I'm a huge Jim Rohn fan now. And I'm a real huge John Maxwell fan now because of the books and stuff that I've read. But what happens is we start branching off into two different directions. And I think it was in 2020, we had both left our jobs. And before we we both left our jobs, but during that time, that's when we were able to hone back in, focus on real estate, and still say, hey, we're still going to do the Herbalife thing as much as we can, but let's hone in on this one thing. And then you have your strengths and I have my weaknesses in it. And we were killing it, and of course we had, a tragedy in the family, and we both ended up going back to our jobs, which those, year and a half, 2 years are the biggest blessings we had. But Mahogany was able to really hone in on her people strength. And then I was able to really hone in on the analytical system side. And I'll be honest with you, us, the tragedy that we went through, that actually helped us going back into our 9-to-5s, because we're actually able to hone in on those strengths. And we were reading, going to the gym, and it really helped us in our 9-to-5s, because we seen okay, what value can we have in a 9-to-5, right? So when I went back to mine, I know my value was, hey, I'm really good at systems and processes and doing the AI stuff. And so they've honed in on that on my 9-to-5 job as well. So, just focusing in on your strengths and then outsourcing your weaknesses as much as possible, especially if you're in a marriage. If your spouse more than likely has your weakness is more likely their strength, that's a winning combination, but you do have to know how to hone in on it. And I think that's a hard thing to do. And I think with us, it took us being 100% committed to our business and each other, no work distractions. We're off work. It's just us, the kids. And it took that for us to get there. But it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And I definitely would even say it's a thing that's always evolving and in the process, because it's not once you figure out your strengths, it's oh, now I know exactly how to do my strengths all the time and act in my best self. No, it doesn't work like that. You may know your strength. However, it does take that focus and that discipline and that commitment and that consistency to stay in that role.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to say we're on this path and we're doing great and we're in a great spot. However, something is going to be a monkey wrench thrown on our path. And so the question now is, can you still stay within your strength when life is happening?
I'm going to be real too, because I realized I was operating out of my strength the other day. Remember when I told you to hit up the cleaner? And I'm sitting here trying to fumble okay, I need to hit up the cleaner, do this, this, and this, because they don't want to be paid this. And I'm let me let Mahogany do this. And Mahogany immediately hopped on it. And it's hey, hit the cleaner up. Hey, we're trying to do this now. Just let's schedule a time. I'm like, dang, that was easy because Mahogany's the people person. You know, me, I'm not the people person, so Mahogany is. So sometimes you start operating outside, but you have to realize, I think outsourcing is the thing people have to understand. They say men outsource faster than women, but when a woman learns to outsource because a woman's better at making connections, like not all the time, but a lot of the times, like Mahogany's better at making connections, the business can 10x because you have access to more people. And then once you like outsource it to like having those friends and things, we're able to really grow. Like even with this podcast, like we have photo shoots and stuff coming up. You were able to coordinate all that. Me, I ain't about to coordinate that with people. I ain't got time. I'm not a people person.
You ain't got time.
Not time. It's just I'm not a people person to do that. But you have that strength. And so now that's why I think out of all of our podcasts, I think this one will, I'm not going to say go the furthest. I'll say go the furthest maybe. Mm-hmm. Because I think when me and you operate together, it's like you said earlier, we were driving, you were like, yeah, we're unstoppable when we're clicking on the same page. And that's with any marriage, you know what I'm saying? So I do think this podcast has a lot of potential to like really hone in, like with the events and stuff. And even like the Melanated Business, I think that was a failing forward moment. By the way, that's a really great book by John Maxwell. If you haven't read it, go read it, Fail Forward. Because we failed forward. And at the time we were like, dang, how are we going to get paid off this? Now we have such a large connection down here in the DFW. We could easily revamp that if we wanted to and be getting paid off of it, having events, having them sponsor events and bring all those businesses together because we have those connections and resources now. So also always be trying stuff in your marriage. Like try different stuff, like try different businesses, fail. If you fail forward, learn from it and go to the next thing. Just don't ever get in caught of not getting started. Because that's what happened with this podcast, but it kind of happened at the right time.
Yep, that's for sure. So when it comes to really just finding out what your strength is, that's like the first step really is like, what is my strength? Something you could do to figure that out, even if you're a solo person or if you're with a partner, is just sit down and write down what are some of my accomplishments. And now within those accomplishments, look at that and say, what made this successful for me? And really write down what you did successfully to make that accomplishment happen. And I bet you more than likely you're going to see a lot of consistency within those responses to see like what that strength actually is for you. You could start with like 8 things. Like it could be a win for yourself or a win that you helped make happen for somebody else. It doesn't have to just be your own projects because some of us might not have projects that we've started on yet or, you know, haven't really done anything. So it could just be whatever. Like, I don't care if you helped, you know, raise somebody's kid that wasn't yours. Like, what was your strength? What role did you play in that? And, you know, what was your success point in that? So try that out. When it comes to your partner, it'd be cool to come together with your answers and just see what it is that is consistent for you and for your partner.
I agree.
I know for a fact that a lot of us, myself included, like tend to shy away from our strengths and not really see it as a strength. Because I know for me, Myka and, you know, friends and things always tell me what a people person I am or how I can really click with people or I have a way with words. And for me, it took a long time to see that. It's like, in my mind, it's like, doesn't everybody talk to people? Like, isn't everyone like super friendly? And like, isn't that normal for people want to tell you every little thing about them? And they're like, no. So don't underplay your strengths either, because you can be like really undercutting yourself. Now, when it comes to the weaknesses, of course, we all have those weaknesses. So it's also important to make sure your weakness is not leading the show. Because you could play into your weakness just like you can play into your strength. And when you play into your weakness, it can be an absolute disaster.
I agree. And also knowing when you're operating in your weakness. Most of the time, the fastest way to know you're operating as a weakness is if the task you're doing is draining you. More than likely, you're playing into your weakness. If it's draining you, like, what am I doing? Oh, I have to get this done. It's playing into your weakness. And another thing, how Mahogany is talking about strengths and weaknesses, I'm going to tell you one cool thing we both do is we pay for the really big version of ChatGPT, but both of us are on it. And then, like, if I'm talking to it about something, I will have to say, hey, I'm Myka, or Mahogany have to say, I'm Mahogany. And what it does is it knows both of our personalities, and it can do a lot for our business. Like, we have a chief financial officer through ChatGPT. We create these agents, but they know, okay, who should be doing what task ChatGPT can tell you your strengths and weaknesses, but you have to let it know things about you, put a lot of information into it. That's a really great resource as well. Yeah, because I notice whenever I'm operating in my weakness, I'm like getting drained. I'm like, okay, why is this like this? But it's like, okay, I'm not operating to my strengths. You know what I mean? And then most of the time I can usually outsource that to Mahogany or our assistant, and they'll be able to take care of it. Like Mahogany did the other day. Like I was making those, I was changing the preview covers of our reels on Instagram, and it wasn't aesthetically pleasing. Mahogany goes, "Why are you doing this? And you have a whole VA that's her strength." I was like, "Oh, you're right."
I'm sure y'all have seen Myka's Instagram.
Really? All right, go ahead.
He got the same thumbnail for every picture. I'm like, why is your page all the same picture, besides one or two things? And yeah, so by the time this drops, it's probably completely different, and that's thanks to me and Zyra.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm not an artistic person, not a people person. But I'm very friendly. Like I'm not a people person. Like Mahogany's a people person. She'd be rude to somebody if they come up to her in the wrong time in the wrong place. But I'm more. I don't know if I wouldn't say I'm more approachable, but yeah. I mean, we know our strengths and weaknesses. But yeah, really hone in on them. And then I remember the one time. Remember we were, when Mahogany was doing the Herbalife thing. I think one thing that really, really helped us and really like start a really new path of going down the same lane. I think after we left Detroit for the Herbalife event, and then I think after that we went to the Springboard event in Seattle, in Bellevue, and that was like eye-opening of like how powerful it is to see two people on the same page, and everybody in the Springboard, they know we're always together. And there's a lot of other married couples as well too. Shout out to them. And that really going to that event and just watching like all these people who had made it so far just by being on the same page with their partner was just like inspiring. And we just really set out on a new path, man. Like, cause for us, I would say from 2020 to 2025 was like really rough on finding our strengths and, just life stuff happening, new baby, but like, I'm happy about this season in 2026 cause we're really, honed in, focused. And the first of the year, you always, have that new energy, and I'm about to try to ride this out as much as we can.
Yes, for sure. Speaking of AI, I think like AI is, please don't get left behind, first of all. Like if all we're doing is chat GPT, we're getting left behind because this is getting kind of creepy. And I get it. A lot of people are like, AI is weird, especially when it comes to people's photos and stuff like that. Distort, I'm sure you might have seen our social media. Myka does AI videos for us and makes different things like that. And people are coming to me talking about, I really like that shirt that you had on in your video. And I'm like, oh, what shirt? This is a shirt. And I'm like, oh, that was AI. I don't even have that shirt. And they're like, what? That was AI? I didn't even know that was AI. That's scary. That's very scary. And we better know how to use it so it's not used as, a weapon against you to be able to recognize what's happening. That's the reason why on our page, you probably won't see much of our kids because, of course their photos are out there somewhere, but I don't want them to be a hot spot or a quick way to snatch a kid's photo and put them on the internet or sell their images or their videos doing weird stuff or anything crazy. So maybe I'm thinking too far into it. I don't know. I just don't want no parts of it when it comes to my kids. So y'all will see them sometimes, especially in their like close friends reels and stuff like that. But I just want to throw that out there because you're talking about AI. That is a strength of yours, but I think we all need to know a little bit of AI.
I agree. And I talk about, because, I have my other podcasts and I've been real big on like, bro, don't get left behind, like you said, because it's coming. Like, at least know how to do some sort. Like, you can get on LinkedIn, like learn prompt engineering off LinkedIn for free. Well, no, I think you have to be paying the premium version, but the premium version like $30 a month. Like
the YouTube is like free.
Yeah,
and you can get a lot there, and then go over to a legit course.
Yeah, like, and I'm like at my job, I've been honing in on it. Just my job, taking advantage of like Copilot, taking advantage of ChatGPT, Perplexity. I think Mahogany's used Perplexity more than me. Is it Gemini? Whatever it was.
Gemini.
Yeah, Mahogany's used Gemini more than me. Perplexity, Grok, all that. Like, just learn it, because I'm telling people it can really like. Even when we were having our conversation yesterday with our friend who was in Springboard, who was talking about strengths and weaknesses in marriage. I was showing him some AI stuff, and he was like, bro, like your whole social media is ran by AI. I was like, all of it. I said, even this podcast here, we're podcasting live now, but like I could put this in an AI tool, have it chop it up for me, put words on it, put B-rolls on it, and it does it itself. And then I just schedule it to post. And he was just like in shock, like, yo, I thought you were manually doing all this stuff. I'm like, nah, it's all AI generated.
Definitely got to put it in your business.
Yes.
If you're not already, in not just, like I said, to the basic abilities of it, really find out how to like do more with all the, what they call it, SEOs and all the things. So
yeah,
tap into it or hire someone who will. If that's not your strength and you're like, I'm not getting into all the AI stuff, you better make sure you have some money set aside for it then.
Straight up. You can get a VA for $5 an hour to do AI for you if you don't know how to do it. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, you can get VAs from several places. You can go to Upwork. You can go to
onlinejobs.ph.
Onlinejobs.ph.
That mainly focuses on the Philippines, though. And that's where our VA is, the Philippines.
There's one more.
Fiverr, Upwork.
Yeah, Fiverr for sure. But yeah, there's so many out there. So, you know, if you need a virtual assistant for your business, you can find one reasonably priced, especially if you're using one that's out of the country. We had to go through a couple of VAs to find like our golden nugget, and it took time, but it's totally worth it when you find someone who meshes with your business and who knows how to play into their strengths. And then you as a leader being able to get your assistant to understand what their strengths are and even asking them what they believe their strengths are, what their goals are, and what they want to do. So leadership, like, it plays a huge part when you hire a VA. You're not just, you know, you actually are you're an employer at that point, and you're a leader at that point, you know, and so you have to do your part to make sure your business flows, and that means playing into your strengths.
Man, I'm happy you talked about leadership, because that was one of my weaknesses, was knowing how to lead. And one of the things in knowing how to lead is knowing not only your strengths, but knowing the strengths of the people around you. And that really, like, I think in the last 3 years, I went on like a huge binge of reading nothing but leadership books by John Maxwell, listening to his podcast. If y'all can, like, if you're going to own a business, like especially men who have a family, definitely hone in on your leadership skills. Like, it makes life a whole lot easier if you know how to lead effectively. Like it builds trust with your team, your wife, your marriage, all that. Leadership is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Leadership just ain't no position. I think that's a lot of people fall into, oh, well, I'm not in management at work. But it's like, nah, you're in leadership. And one reason why I love my job is because they hone in on servant leadership. And they're real big on knowing servant leadership and how everyone's a leader. You know, so leadership that's the key to everything right there.
You've been a great leader.
Thank you, Mahogany.
You really have. No, I'm serious.
Not for real. Thank you. Legitimately. Thank you.
You're like, oh, thank you.
No, it's legit. Like, legitimately, thank you.
No, for real. Because I can tell the difference in your growth. Like, over the year alone, it's like, it's really like 10x. So it really pays off to pour into yourselves. I believe that the whole household, like, what's around one accord, we're just going. We're going. And it's really, like I said earlier, about keeping it going, or at least like pushing past the obstacles that come up, because they're going to come. And so we got to be ready for them. We don't fear them. We know that God's got us. We know that we're doing God's work and his purpose for our lives. And so if we just stay focused on that and in that, like, we cannot fail.
Straight up.
And that goes for y'all too.
Yeah. So. And I'm going to throw something out there our pastor said the other day. Don't seek happiness, seek joy. Happiness comes and goes, but joy, you can have joy in while anything's going on. And I think that's where, like, a lot of times when, like, on our struggles of some of like our business and marriage, it's because we lost joy. We were focusing on, oh, we're not getting this, and we were trying to be happy. But no, you have to have joy, knowing no matter what happens, everything will be okay. And I remember I was talking to my therapist. He said that a while ago, a few years ago. He said, man, what if I told you no matter what happens, everything will be okay? And I was like, dang. And then I read this book called Feel the Fear and Beyond. And she goes, don't worry, whatever comes up, don't be, if you're too focused on the future, you're going to have anxiety. And then it's something like, if you're focused on the past, I forgot what they say you get, but
depression.
yeah, you may be depressed if you're focused on the past, but if you're enjoying the moment, living life in the moment, you can have joy and peace, enjoy the moment, and have gratitude. That's what we talked about. I don't know if we talked about the gratitude journal in any of our previous episodes, but that's what I used to do it every morning. I need to get back to it, is writing down 3 things I'm grateful for.
Yeah, the gym.
GEM. Yeah. 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things you're experiencing, and 3 things you're manifesting. So yeah, living that life of gratitude and just like knowing everything will be okay. But I think in the book, the quote is I'll handle it. If anything comes up, I'll handle it. Just worry about it when it comes to you. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, we have absolutely enjoyed talking to y'all. I hope that you guys are going to subscribe, join our Facebook group, join our community events that we have coming up. You don't want to miss it. Come connect with us. Come hang out with us. We are in the season of building our tribe of just really awesome people who go after it and who want to thrive and grow. So tap in with us and let's do this thing.
Yes. Remember to like, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, and then, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that stuff. And we look forward to connecting with you. And you can also send us an email at Entrepremarriage, which is Entrepremarriage here, at gmail.com. The name's kind of spelled out long, but the name will be in the show notes. So thank y'all for taking this ride with us. We are out.
If this conversation resonated with you and you want to go deeper,
join us inside the Entrepremarriage Inner Circle on Patreon. You'll find the link in the show notes. And while you're here,
make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future episodes.
You can also join our Entrepremarriage Facebook community. The link is in the description to keep the conversation going between episodes.
Thanks for watching.
Until next time,
keep building wealth
without losing the marriage.